From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Woodard. Daryl Clark has the evening off. Leading our news tonight, a report of a bomb on Fort Wainwright left many residents evacuated from their homes last evening. Residents say they were told to leave as the emergency teams cleared each of the units. Fort Wainwright officials believe the threat came from what they call a scam artist. Last evening, via social media, authorities said it was reported at the corner of 599th Street and Pine Street. On post later announcing, quote, "The Directorate of Emergency Services has investigated, cleared the area, and found it to be unsubstantiated," end quote. Residents were allowed back into their homes around 10 p.m. Ultimately, no bomb was found in the area. However, the incident is still under investigation.
Concern was they had received information or message that there may be a bomb or an explosive at their residence. At that time, emergency services responded with law enforcement officials, the fire department, and then with our military working dogs. The person involved is cooperating with our emergency services folks, the investigators conducting that. It does appear to be one of those situations where the person received communications from basically a scam artist, and they're trying to leverage a person for some money, yeah.
Fairbanks firefighters responded to a blaze at 1524 Stacia Street yesterday afternoon. They found a fire in a basement bedroom of the dwelling and contained it there. Now, there were no injuries reported. One person was asleep in the living room when smoke alarms went off, alerting him to the blaze. He left the house with his dog and called 911. Fairbanks Fire Department received mutual aid from the Fort Wainwright and University Fire Departments. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. 2 men were rescued by Alaska State Troopers after capsizing their canoe on the Chena River near Two Rivers. Troopers say they received notification around 4 p.m. yesterday that the men had flipped their canoe, losing each other, and were separated from their gear. 27-year-old Ryan Campbell and 23-year-old Claude Pesos, both of Fairbanks, were rescued by Alaska Wildlife helicopters after a brief search. Now they were flown to the Pleasant Valley store in Two Rivers, where their families were waiting for them. As the investigation of VA health care for veterans continues, Alaska U.S. Senator Mark Begich is saying the government should take a cue from Alaska. Today on the Senate floor, Begich called the progress made by the Department of Veteran Affairs in Alaska, quote, a model for the nation. Begich urged his colleagues to put aside partisan politics in order to pass the Ensuring Veterans Access to Care Act.
Alaska is a model on how to do this around the country, because we figured out how to partner with folks around the state to make sure the highest priority, delivering health care to our veterans, was done, and especially in our very rural areas.
This week is National CPR and AED Awareness Week, a time to spotlight the life-saving strategies. CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and health instructors with Red Cross want to demystify the technique. Tyson Paris-Hansen has more.
If someone next to you collapses, first call 911 and be ready to perform CPR.
If they're not breathing, then back I go to my 100 chest compressions. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
In the past, mouth-to-mouth was taught as part of CPR, but now revised techniques are making CPR easier to perform.
It's really been streamlined down to anybody can do this, anybody can learn to do this.
It's called hands-only CPR, and health experts found that pumping the heart manually is enough to keep oxygen circulating.
We pretty much do at least 100 compressions within a minute, and then after that we look, listen, and feel to see if they are breathing on their own. If they breathe on their own, then we stop CPR. We just monitor them and maintain that open airway.
CPR can double or triple somebody's chance of surviving a cardiac arrest. The Red Cross teaches a handful of classes each month to the public and various agencies. To schedule your hands-on CPR class, visit redcross.org.
It's not just they may be helping somebody else, but then you may want somebody around you who knows what CPR is as well.
From the Red Cross Fairbanks office, this is Tyson Paris-Hansen.
Thank you, Tyson, and be sure to join us tomorrow for a look at AEDs, the automated system to diagnose and correct abnormal heart rhythms. When we come back, we'll have more of your local news, sports, and weather when the Fairbanks News continues on KTVF Channel 11. Welcome back. The Fairbanks North Star Borough School Board voted to approve a new policy aimed to prevent sexual abuse. Aaron's policy will establish curriculum aimed at educating students to distinguish the difference between appropriate and inappropriate conduct where sexual abuse can occur. Now, the curriculum will be age appropriate to different groups, and the district is working to figure out how the instruction would actually take place. The policy requires that each district employee receive training on recognizing the signs of sexual abuse and misconduct, as well as mandatory reporting requirements, school policies, and appropriate relationships with students. The second of 4 Red Flag Alaska training exercises will start later this month at Eielson Air Force Base. Monty Bowen tells us about some of the training that occurred last month in this week's military report.
The first exercise of 2014 ended May 23rd. That air combat exercise included the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Army, and the Air Force from Singapore. The training takes place in the Joint Pacific Alaska Range Complex, or JPARC. At more than 65,000 square miles, JPARC is the largest training range in America. Missions leave from Eielson Air Force Base and Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson.
Yeah, this is a pretty phenomenal event for us. Is not only just the event that we're completely tied into the scenario, both with the air battle itself, as well as the close air support mission that they're doing soon after the overall air battle ceases or moves on to a different sector.
It's a joint effort by everyone concerned to get the job done.
It's been incredible, actually. It's the Tactical Operations Center that we have here is able to actually track where the A-10 close air support operations are, where the aircraft are in the sky.
The air and ground forces stay in sync with those on the ground, helping identify targets for the aerial attack.
All of our scouts have reconned those objectives, provided the intel reports. RS2 has provided the debriefings and actually a situation report on what's actually on the ground, to include sketches, digital pictures.
Additional Red Flag exercises are scheduled for later this month and in August and October. Multiple Red Flag Alaska exercises were canceled in 2013 because of the budget cuts under sequestration. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
It's time once again to check in with the folks at Pioneer Park. This week we talk about Fairbanks Day and the upcoming Folk Fest. So it's another beautiful day here at Pioneer Park. Jason, it's Fairbanks Day. Tell me what people are doing today.
Man, we've had kids games going out throughout the day, a bunch of entertainment, and just, we're going to have music going on well into the evening tonight with a beer tent and over 25 different community organizations.
That's awesome. Also remind people about Battle of the Bands, right?
Yeah, Battle of the Bands tonight. Phineas Gage and the Young Fangs are going to be battling it out on top of the riverboat.
So that's not all the music. We're going to go talk with Lori because this weekend Folk Fest is coming up. So thanks so much, Jason. It's another beautiful day, another beautiful year. I'm with Lori with the Fairbanks Folk Fest. Lori, tell us what we can expect for another jammin' year.
Saturday at Moose Creek Pavilion. It starts at 1 o'clock, goes all day and all evening long. We've got music, solo acts, duos, bands, music for all ages, music from all ages.
So this is something you do every year. Does this draw a huge crowd?
You know, the more the merrier. Yeah, it's great. It's donations, and so if you want to donate to Fairbanks Folk Fest, great, but bring the whole family.
So it is family friendly, and tell me kind of what do you see when you come here for folks who have never been to the fest? Like, do you bring your blankets out, picnics?
Lawn chairs, blankets, picnics, dogs on leashes.
That's awesome. So okay, tell me the times again.
1 until later in the evening, so at least until 10.
So awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks, Lori.
Thanks a lot.
And make sure to come on down and check out Folk Fest this Saturday.
Today's vendor spotlight is on more than just cupcakes. Located behind the carousel across from the riverboat in Nenana, it features sweet and savory cupcakes and daily lunch specials.
So come on down this weekend, enjoy all the fun, because that's what's happening this week at Pioneer Park. To the state tournament. Plus, what happened at Moose Mountain last night? Find out next in sports.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here, bringing you some Wednesday sports. The ASAA First National Bank Alaska State Baseball Tournament starts tomorrow. The three-time Mid-Alaska champion Lathrop Malamute set to face the Colony Knights in their first game of the state tournament. Lathrop's only loss this year was to Chugiak, and that was the second game of the year. As far as wins, they defeated Colony early in the year, so they're familiar with the Knights. The Malamutes win, they'll play the South Juneau winners. South won it all last season, and Juneau finished third, so it doesn't get any easier. We caught up with the team before leaving for Sitka, and Lathrop is not looking past Colony.
So we're familiar with them, they're familiar with us, so you know, it kind of works both ways, and it's just going to come down to who executes better, who makes the least amount of mistakes. We know they're good, we just have to play a little bit better.
Yeah, we're just trying to take that momentum into the state and just play it one game at a time. You know, we like to win each inning, each pitch, you know, try not to think about the next couple of games. We got to play Colony first. Got to beat Colony to move on, so we just kind of take it one game at a time.
We're all around solid. We have solid pitching, solid defense, and we have some hitters. We have speed on the bases, but most of all, it's how we play together. Everyone's always playing for each other. Everyone's watching each other's back.
Now, on the other side of the state baseball tournament bracket are the West Valley Wolfpack. Who knows? There could be an all-interior baseball final. West Valley's only losses this season have come to Lathrop. The Wolfpack play the South Central champion Wasilla Warriors. West Valley will have to clean up the mental errors in order to go deep in the tournament. That was one of the things the team addressed before heading to Sitka this week. If they correct that, head coach Mark Wade believes his team has a good chance because he believes they have the best pitching staff built for the state tournament. So does Tyler Chrisman.
We probably got the best pitcher staff in the interior, so we have Casey's doing really good this year, and then Taylor's coming in and been closing games really good. And I've been trying to put in work this year too.
We know they can hit pretty well, and well, so can we, but pitchers are going to try to throw strikes, and fielders are going to field, and hopefully it'll turn out for the best.
And so you hope that your pitching shows up and keeps balls, you know, over the plate and throws low and just keeps the ball down to where if he throws a bunch of ground balls, you know, we got a chance.
So the West Valley Wolfpack team, they seem pretty relaxed. Now, Scott Jerome's women's cross-country team picked up players for this fall season coming up through recruiting. But how about an in-house recruit? Benty Heller, one of the best swimmers in UAF program history, will run for the cross-country team this upcoming season. Heller, a senior, graduates after the fall semester, and by running will complete 10 semesters of competition for a student-athlete, the NCAA rule. She'll join a team that returns all of its freshmen from last year, like Callie Stryker and West Valley product Dorothy O'Donnell. Heller has run a number of triathlons back in her home country of Germany. So that'll be interesting. Last night, a local basketball player privately signed her national letter of intent. Hutchinson guard Kiana Edwards signed her NLI to play basketball for Central Lakes College in Minnesota, which is a junior college in Brainerd, Minnesota. Edwards signed her NLI at home. Edwards will be a Raider for the Dennis Eastman-led squad. Eastman used to coach in Valdez. He's led Central Lakes to 8 state tournaments, including the Elite 8 in 2008. In her senior year, Edwards was named co-MVP for Hutch and averaged 14 points and 4.5 rebounds per game for the Hawks and led the team in three-point shooting. Last evening, a number of runners went out to run Moose Mountain. Second race in the Running Club North Trail Series, the Masochism on Moose Mountain Run. It was a 4K run up the Moose Mountain, and then, of course, they come back down. Very steep. After runners conquered the steep climb up top, Davia Flaherty, she passes the field and she rumbled down to the finish line. Flaherty finished first overall in 36 minutes and 49 seconds. Ted Alder, the former Michigan State runner, finished second in 37 minutes and 19 seconds. Jesse Holmes, he trotted to third place, loving it, 37 minutes, 55 seconds. Gary Holton was fourth in 37:49, and Dana Fier was the second woman to finish and rounds out the top 5, coming in at 38:11. Flaherty talked about coming back to lead the pack of runners on her way down.
I'm happy. You always go into these races not really knowing how it's going to turn out and how you feel, and it's so steep that you feel pretty pathetic going up, but then it all just kind of comes together at the end.
She is such a strong runner. Like when a group of people passed me going up the hill, and I was just like, okay, hang on, and just hammer down coming downhill. And yeah, I never seen her coming down once, so I knew she would just cruise in.
And that's a wrap for sports. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our Wednesday newscast. Mike Schultz with you once again, talking about weather. A beautiful day, lots of sunshine, little puffy cumulus clouds here and there. We're looking at a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Our photograph for tonight sent in by Nancy Hummel, the White Mountains. Nice colors in the foreground, and then, of course, the mountains in the background there. And as always, if you have a photograph to share with us, by all means, send it to us here at photos@ktvf11.com. Our almanac for today looks like this. The normal high 68, today's high 70, the normal low 45, last night's low 42. Record high in 1993 got up to 86 that day. Record low 29 in 2006. And your sunrise and sunset, not quite 21 hours of daylight. We'll go over that tomorrow. We gained 6 minutes today. Here's your satellite and radar. A little bit of cloudiness moving in from the northwest, but that's going to really basically be knocked out by the mountains. We're looking at better weather coming in, and elsewhere across the state, not a whole lot going on. As you can see on our regular map here, you can see that we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy skies over southeast Alaska. Lots of sunshine from Anchorage right on south into the Gulf of Alaska. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies up and down the west coast. A few rain showers, even mixed with snow at time at Barrow. And 66 degrees and partly cloudy at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, boy, lots of weather going on last night, but things have calmed down considerably from what they had last night. In Omaha, they had winds over 85 miles an hour, baseball-sized hail, and all from this system here that moved through rapidly. Things are quieting down, although there is another storm system trying to gather some more strength moving across the Central Plains. And as far as what lies ahead for later on this weekend, strong storms once again developing across the Central Plains, very humid and very hot over much of the western half of the country. In fact, tomorrow, scorching temperatures expected all over Texas, stretching into the Bayou country, and more strong thunderstorms expected there too. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow in the northern sections. Here's what it looks like: rain and snow in Barrow, a few clouds at Nome, isolated thunderstorms for Fort Yukon. And as far as we're concerned, looks like isolated thunderstorms are still possible for the Healy and Fairbanks area, but just cloudy skies around Delta Junction. Over southeast Alaska, not too bad, becoming partly cloudy across the region, while out to the southwest, looking at rain likely for Cold Bay and Kodiak, with Bethel having mostly cloudy skies. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, we're looking at mostly sunny skies covering the entire region, with temperatures close to 70 degrees in Anchorage tomorrow. Our forecast for the remainder of the night looks like this: 48 degrees, scattered clouds, still some isolated showers around the area. And tomorrow's forecast, again looking at right around 65 degrees, isolated showers or even possible thunderstorm are in the forecast. That will continue on Friday in the 5-day outlook here. 70 degrees all the way across the board there. Overnight lows close to 50 degrees. And partly cloudy skies expected right on through the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, the temperatures there look great, and also the entire weekend looks fantastic for any outdoor activities. And Joe, I don't know if there's any ball games going on, but there should not be any problems this weekend.
Will that be the first storm we see?
What?
Will that be the first storm that we see?
Thunderstorm, actually we had some last Saturday when we had the real high winds. There was a couple rumbles of thunder then.
What about lightning?
Well, that's usually what it preceded by. Thunder is usually preceded by lightning.
Are
That's
you sure?
how it's kicked off, yes.
You just predict that weather, Mike.
You cannot have thunder without lightning.
It's an inside joke.
All right.
Predict that
That's your
weather.
weather lesson for the day.
All right, well, thanks, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are so glad you could join us.
And we're going to see you back here at 11 o'clock. And
That's
you can
right.
join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
We're going to leave you tonight with some video from Rosie Creek Farm. From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.